Now, anyways, I was talking about Tony Storm, Mariah May. To that little man over there, Tony Khan, do you not care for women's wrestling? Do you not care for women's wrestling? Because this is the greatest freaking storyline that the wrestling that has ever happened in wrestling. You could talk about the bloodline. You could talk about Cody versus Roman. You could talk about the Authority. You could talk about John Cena versus The Rock, which I can't even believe somebody tried to say that John Cena versus The Rock even comes in comparison to Mariah May versus Tony Storm. But you could talk about John Cena versus The Rock if you wanted to. If you wanted to, you could talk about Cena versus Punk. You could talk about Cena versus Edge. It'd actually be a lot better, comparison. You could talk about any of the other storylines. I am saying that this Tony Storm, Mariah May storyline was the greatest freaking storyline that has ever been told. And even if you want to say it's not the best one ever been told, it is the best one that's ever been told in AEW. And I will not argue that. You can say Hangman Swerve. No. You can say MJF and Adam Cole. No, because of the horrible ending. You could say CM Punk and MJF. Sorry to tell you, buddy, but it's not better than Tony Storm and Mariah May. This should have been the main event. I don't know why Tony Khan didn't make it the main event. And I really just feel like what's going to happen is we're going to get a women's pay-per-view. A women's main event to be a pay-per-view, but it's going to be because a freaking ex-WWE star came in, and it's just the exact same thing that MJF has said. I guarantee you, if I was an ex-WWE star, you would treat me so much better, which is the freaking truth, and I hate it so much. I hate it so much because it's starting to feel like that's more and more the truth now, that Tony Khan just is not going to give his guys the dang main event. I mean, well, especially in the women's division, because he did that so long in the men's division. Literally had Chris Jericho be the first AEW World Champion when it should have been Kenny Omega or Hangman Adam Page, in my opinion. I don't understand why it had to be Chris Jericho. You made Jon Moxley the first three-time AEW World Champion. And again, I love Jon Moxley. That's my guy and all. Didn't need to be the first one, even though he was, backpacking the company for it. Well, not backpacking, but like he was definitely pushing AEW to be like just through the stratosphere. I have to take a deep breath for a second. I'm getting a little worked up. But why? Why is it that Tony versus Mariah could not be the main event of Revolution? Literally would have made so much sense because it would have been a woman's revolution in a sense by having them be the main event. This was such an amazing story. And I hate the fact that the match did in the way it did because apparently Mariah May got hurt in this match. So that's why it was a lot shorter than it really should have been. So I hate that. And look it, man, I hope it's not going to be a case of like, let's say Becky Lynch comes to AEW and they're like, oh, we have Becky, we have Mercedes. They never had like, wait, Becky and Mercedes did. Yeah, no, Becky and Bayley never did. But like, they're like, oh, we have Becky, we have Mercedes, main event of All In. Like, bruh, are you serious? Because it could be like a trash story, or it could be like a decent storyline. Because it won't be trash. It could be like a decent storyline. They'll be like, yeah, no, that's the main event right there because Becky Lynch is from AEW, Becky Lynch is from WWE, and she's a super duper mega star. I really, really hope that does not happen. I hope that it's still Tony. Maybe it could be Tony and Athena. I would really love to see that. I hope it's not Mercedes versus Athena because it kind of just plays into the whole ex-WWE star. Got to be the dang main event before Tony is an ex-WWE wrestler as well, but she's not a star over there, okay? She literally had to walk out within a few months because the company didn't even know what the heck to do with her. And Mariah May was from Stardom. You really built up both of these women. Although, again, Mariah May, Stardom, so she kind of built herself up a bit. But she became a superstar in AEW a lot more than she was in Stardom. So it just really sucks, man. It really, really sucks that I don't know what it's going to take for the woman to get a main event. I really don't, and I think it's going to be what I don't want it to be. It's going to be a ex-WWE star comes over to AEW, and that's how we get a main event. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I'm going to be sick to my stomach when I see the day that it happens, and we're all going to just have to deal with it because unless I don't even know, because there's no way you're getting okay. It's always possible that you could have another storyline be as big as this one because, we have great storylines all the time. We have iconic storylines all the time, and then we have another iconic storyline like Evolution. Evolution, amazing, iconic. Authority, amazing, iconic. Bloodline, amazing, iconic. But look at the span that these take place in. It's like a good 10 years. So you're telling me within the next maybe 10 years that we're going to get a women's pay-per-view to finally main event? That is sad, in my opinion. That is sad. A woman's pay-per-view, a woman's main event a woman to main event the pay-per-view. There we go. That's just sad in my opinion. We can't do this because look at WWE. They took so long to do it because they came out like way early 2000s. AEW came out in 2019. We should already understand by this point that women are equal to men, and it should not be a thing if we have to wait 5-6 years to get a woman's pay-per-view to be the main event. I mean, a woman to main event the dang pay-per-view. That should not be the case. That really shouldn't. We should be having an equal amount of women main eventing Dynamites and Collisions. I just, it's so annoying to me because I have to see weekly Daniel Garcia main eventing freaking Collision, and I'm sorry to say this, Daniel Garcia is freaking boring. This dude is a snooze fest, man. I do not care for Daniel Garcia at all, but yet I don't get to see Mercedes Moné, who's actually an interesting wrestler who has a lot more charisma than him, main event a lot of Dynamites. I think the last time she main evented Dynamite was against was that against Yuka Sakazaki? I think it might have been for like the TBS Championship. Or, yeah, I think it was actually against Yuka Sakazaki for the TBS Championship. But that might have been Collision, to be honest. But why do I not get to see the women main eventing the shows more? Why do I have to freaking see Daniel Garcia main eventing TNT dang near every single dang week, but I can't see Mercedes main eventing the TBS shows? Like, I mean, not TNT, main eventing Collision with the TNT Championship, but I don't get to see Mercedes Moné doing that. It's just, it's so infuriating, man. It really, really is, because the women have just been absolutely killing wrestling over the past few years now. I've said before that in WWE 2024, Nia Jax had the best reign. It was not any one of the men in NXT. Roxanne has been backpacking that company. She had the best championship reign. I'm sorry, I love Fraction. It was not Fraction, and it was not Oba, and it definitely was not Trick Williams or Ethan Page either. You have AEW, where the best storyline that was carrying 2024 was Toni Storm and Mariah May. When a lot of people say that 2024 was a down year, everybody always says, with the exception of Toni Storm and Mariah May. Athena has been carrying Ring of Honor, literally backpacking. We got to get this woman a new back by the time she's done, because, oh my gosh, I know that thing has just gone to dirt. You had Jordynne Grace carrying TNA on her dang back, another woman who deserves every single thing. Maybe she should have been the first freaking double champion in NXT, for crying out loud. You have all these big signings. Who are the big name signings? Stephanie, fantastic wrestler. Julia, fantastic wrestler. Jordynne Grace, fantastic wrestler. Who are these dudes that got signed? Ethan Page, get out of here. Look, man, I like Ethan Page, but he was not on their level. Ricky Saints, not on their level. Oh, Jay Cargill, though, super duper megastar. So it's just, oh man, I don't know what it's gonna take. I really don't know what it's gonna take, y'all. I hate this too, because I love women's wrestling, man. For the people that just like clown on women's wrestling and say that women can't wrestle, or that they don't care because they're women, or that they don't want to see women wrestlers. First of all, I'm gonna be real with you. A few folk have actually been saying this, have been saying a few slurs to me over the past few weeks. Now, these be the same folks that be in my comment section saying that they don't want to watch women wrestlers, but you calling me the F slur, which the FAG slur, to throw that out there. Yeah, you call me that slur, but you don't want to see women's wrestlers. Oh, so you want to see a bunch of dudes in underwear, but you don't want to see a bunch of women in underwear? Interesting, but okay, man. Who? Oh man. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one. But yeah, no, I love women's wrestling so much, man. I always have. Paige, one of my favorite wrestlers. AJ Lee, one of my favorite wrestlers. Lita, one of my favorite wrestlers. Mercedes Moné, one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, literally, these women are all like in like my top 5. Like, I don't separate my men's and my women. They're just in my top 5 in general, man. The only dude in my top 5 is literally Edge. But yeah, no, these are like literally my favorite wrestlers of all time, man. And it's just AJ Lee. I mean, no. Let's start it off right. Chyna did her thing. Trish and Lita did their thing. AJ Lee did her thing. Paige did her thing. The Four Horsewomen did their thing. Toni Storm and Mariah May did their thing. But man, oh man, like AEW, low key, as much as I love it, it feels like old school WWE, where it's like Trish and Lita have this top tier storyline, and it does not get any kind of main events or anything like that. Toni Storm and Mariah May have this top tier storyline, and all they get to main event is a dang special, because it was in Toni Storm's home, and you weren't gonna have Kazuchika Okada versus freaking Buddy Matthews be the main event. You weren't gonna have Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné be the main event. Although I felt like it could have at least opened the show. That would have been really nice to see. But the only reason they felt like they had it was because it was in Toni Storm's home. I hate that so much.